Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Monday Mindset. We are live. This is our live version, and I thought today I would bring a guest along so that he can share his story, and in hope that you get inspired. And after hearing his story, you can see what's possible for you when you have an empowered relationship with money. So I think I have him here. One second. Hello.
Morning.
How are you? We're in the afternoon already, Ben.
Oh, we are. My Lord, it is. It's 2 o'clock. How did that happen?
Can you hear me okay?
I'm in shock right now. Yes.
Thanks so much for agreeing to be my special guest here. And what I wanted to do today was first introduce you, right? So Ben has been a longtime friend, and now recently a client that has coached with me and hopefully will continue to coach with me. And he is actually someone that I I know Ben, he's the king of networking. I mean, he is amazing at that. He is an entrepreneur at heart. And he's someone that I really, really admire deeply because of his determination and his strength. So, and he's someone also that I'm super grateful for because a couple of years back, he actually gave me like my own kick on the butt. And he was actually the one who called me out that I was missing out on my calling. And thanks to that, I'm here. I'm here with him and here with every one of you. And I have an amazing business where I help people create lives and businesses that are aligned to who they are and what they value. So thank you for that, Ben. And what I wanted to do is obviously I give all this background because it was so natural to me to reach out to you, right? And offer you my coaching services. And I wanted you to share with the audience, where were you at when I reached out? Like, what was going on in your life? And what was it that made you say yes?
Are we talking about this recent interaction?
Yes.
So I'm gonna back up just a little bit and just say how glad I am that you took this leap yourself. And talk about networking. That's how you and I met, right?
Yes.
Amateur Marketing Council, and then Scott had that private business group that we used to meet individually and share leads and thoughts and all that. And so that's how it all started. And then you've always been a great advice giver, but more than that, you have a knack for really understanding people and what's really important to them, and that played a lot of dividends, in this situation that we had discussed. So, kind of fast forwarding to very recently, I had, you mentioned, yes, I'm the eternal entrepreneur, and I'd love to say that every business I've started has gone the way that I wanted it to. And you learn from each, right? And I have some that started off great and didn't end up where I wanted them to be. I had some that never really got off the ground. I mean, all kinds of experiences. Um, this was one where, there's a couple of things. There's your drive, and then there's kind of fate. And this is one that fate kind of seemed to interact with my drive, and that was the first time that ever happened. So during COVID times, like a lot of people, you had downtime, and you really evaluated your life, and you start making decisions of what you really want. And one of the things that I knew that I wanted was another business again. I knew what type of business I didn't want it to be due to other ventures. I was an employee at the time, an employee, but happened to also be senior level uh, executive vice president level. So, when you say employee, it's like it's hard to sneeze at something that brings you a great income. And it did. and a lot of opportunity and gobs of additional opportunity. Said I want to go there. But was it fulfilling me? No, it wasn't fulfilling me. And I know I needed something of my own again. I just didn't know quite what it was. So anyway, was able to solve that. I got inspired, and my wife and I were able to open a business probably about a year and 2 or 3 months ago. That really felt within our hobby level. We both love cars, so we were able to open a business that basically protects and beautifies cars, and it's a blast. And so, trying to remain intelligent, not too much risk, I kept my position, and a position that actually escalated right at the time that we opened the business. I was on the business development side of my company. I loved doing that. It wasn't my schedule wasn't dictated by others so much. And then right at the time, literally the month we opened the business, I get a call, and they'd gotten rid of my boss and my boss's boss, and that kind of left me. And I was like, take it. I really had no choice. It was report to somebody that I didn't know, or take a position really that I didn't want, but did have uh, some upside income wise. And it also kind of helped me get a little bit of safety net opening a new business, right? Fast forward a year, I succeeded in that position tremendously, got promoted even more, income was going up, but the business was also thriving very well. At the same time, the company was going through a lot of struggles, and a lot of people really needed my support. And it got to a point where I was really twisted between wanting to be there and being needed to be there, and it became a very confusing situation because the business we had opened really grew to a point that it needed me more, and I was working so hard that it was affecting my health. And Rich, I it was such a tough predicament because at one, I had fear of leaving a very stable position, like many of us kind of fall into that trap. Um, and I had fear of not being able to financially support the company if it wasn't continuing to go. And one, kind of needed the other. So, making that decision was really, really tough. And that was right about the time that, Laura asked me to engage in some sessions. And our first one was, it was pretty heartfelt because I ended up in tears. And, and it was just a realization of what was truly important. And, it's really great when you make others that you care about, that are relying on you, a very important factor. It is really, really a great thing. But this session really helped me realize it wasn't the most important thing. What do they tell you when you're in a plane, when they're training you for, if there was something bad to happen? Put the mask on yourself first, and then you take care of, your younger sibling, or, whoever you're taking care of. So, yeah, you got to take care of yourself first. And,
And sorry that I'm not going to interrupt you there, because I do want anyone in the audience who's listening to us right now, or maybe in the future, if you would, if you really can relate to what the pain and the stress and what Ben is sharing with us, right? Like being kind of torn of like staying in a job that he was comfortable with, that paid him well, and also like going for his business, his passion, and kind of like not knowing where to go, because that's where you were, and that's why you actually told me, oh yes, I like work-life balance, sign me up, right?
yeah, right.
And the funny part that I remember, I do want to also kind of like jump in here and say this, because as you know, like all my coaching starts with the money work, right? And I remember like I'm like, hang on with me here, Ben, like I'm gonna send you a quiz. And he's like, what, like a
Yeah,
quiz? I don't have time for anything. Like,
right.
but he did that. And the reason I really point this out, because it's when you have an empowered relationship with money, you really end up having an empowered relationship with yourself. And once you have an empowered relationship with yourself, which is kind of like what you discovered quickly as I was describing what your money archetypes were, etc., like it really, like you quickly got to that decision, which is that you said, I have to I have to go for my business, right? Like there's no other way. Like your, as you said, your health was being impacted. You had, I think you told me that things in your business were kind of like not running smoothly because the business needed you,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, continue.
So, and then coincidence, and one of the things, so if I was to take a full-time role in the company, um, my other fear was I had a girl that was handling all of our sales remotely. And I was highly concerned if I took this position, I didn't really need her anymore because I was able now to have the time to take care of our customers personally, and and do all the quotes and everything that's involved. And I didn't know how I was going to tell her, I don't need you anymore because she was so excited working for us, whatever. And then, it comes the fate part again. Literally, that week, if not somewhere around that day, she's telling me that she just got an incredible offer, full time, and she didn't know how she was going to tell me that she wasn't going to be able to continue in that role. So it was
Everything started aligning, yeah. And what I
yeah,
told you was like you, so because you had a courageous decision, because basically what went in your mind was like, I'm going for my business. And basically the one of the mindset shifts you had was, I'm going to trust that I can generate the income that I was making from my other job or more through my own business, because this is what I love, right?
right, yeah,
And by taking that decision, you allowed someone else, like the employee that you had that wasn't maybe in her and on her path, by working with you, like in
right,
that role, you allowed her to just step free and find her own thing too. So
yeah,
that's what starts happening. Yeah.
yeah, and then being able to focus on the business. We haven't, every business has its average amount of monthly revenue. And I usually every month. I mean, it's been a progressive growth, but the variables are probably about 10%. And then my first month, just kind of being in charge, I more than doubled our annual revenue, higher than it's ever been. I mean, it was just absolutely insane. And this month looks like it's on a similar track as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all that I don't want people to understand business. Doesn't mean that all goes to you. And there's margins we have to think about, work about. But now I have the time to analyze and fine tune and whatever. But it was such a validation of how badly the business needed just that little again, handling people personally, more drive on the marketing, and on the employees as well, because the staff, uh, who everyone else that's in this business outside of the sales square that left, are literally, I hate calling laborers, they're technicians. And they were all kind of sharing tasks when I was constantly out of the office for meetings, and they have to handle the phones, walk-ins, and all of that. So them being able to focus on their jobs, moved to a lot of productivity as well. But back to a little about the core of this, which was the process, is that yeah, she gave me these quiz, and it didn't quite understand everything I had to fill out. I just trusted the process. And
Thank you so much. Yes.
well, you gave me two quizzes, right? There was one that, and then the session we did over last weekend, where you had me draw squares and stand in them, and
No, that was, yeah,
you
no, no,
know
no. That was
that
something different.
that was
Yeah.
something different, but it was
That's,
part of an example of your processes, was it not? So
yes.
yes,
Yes, I actually use an amazing tool in which it could really help resolve any conflicting situation that you may have. It can help you make someone any decision in true alignment by seeing, like other possibilities. It's really amazing, and that's what we did last time. And I really, I'm happy that you helped it, because he's someone that one of the things that I love about Ben is like he's really open, and a lot of it open-minded. And the reason being also is because he knows me for a long time and he trusts me. And I remember when we were doing this exercise, you're the only one that makes me do this.
right.
But he trusted the process, and it really works. So I have to thank you for that trust, and just knowing that you're here now, willing to give your live testimonial. That's just, it means the world to me.
Yeah. And this was all very unrehearsed. It was last minute, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not more prepared. I did not even, as you know, I had a document I had to get ready that I worked up until really the last minute before we started. That's why I didn't even realize it's two. I'm in shock that it's 2:15. I don't know where my morning went, whatever. But at least I got done what I needed to get done and was able to join you. So I
Well,
appreciate.
thank you. But I just kind of want you to maybe tell the audience like what else has changed in your life, because I hear that you're busy, but it's like a happy busy. I hear an amazing energy, right? I think I also follow you on social media. I think you're back to working out. So if you could share like how your life has changed. I mean, you already shared how your business is already so much profitable, right? But what else in your life has changed?
Well, largely, the number one reason I made this jump, outside of, we talked about the business needing me, right? And if I was going to move forward, whatever. Above that, which I didn't really touch on too much, was really health. And, working, it wasn't just insane hours, it was an insane amount of responsibility and just too many people depending on you, more than reasonable. And I literally went to my cardiologist and I said, and my blood pressure was fine. It was 120 over 70. He's like, "You're fine." I'm like, "I'm not. I don't know what part of me's gonna freaking pop." I mean, and the one part wasn't fun is the scale was a little tipping a little further direction than it should, and I saw this and I felt horrible and I hate looking in the mirror and everything else, but I just knew something was going to give and I didn't know what, and when I added the other factors, it was just to the point that I got a non-decision. But so the moment I made that change, I'm like, well, I used to easily make a time excuse. I would get up early to work out literally every day, but it would never happen. I would get on my couch and I would use that downtime to be on my phone and answer emails and just plan and do things. And it was a great, easy excuse. Oh, I'm just so busy. I don't have time to work out. So when I took that out, I was like, okay, no more excuses. A good friend of mine, Thad, said, hey, listen, I work at LA Fitness every morning. I just moved near him. I'm like, man, I got no excuses. So I've jumped on that, and there most days, and how I feel about myself is it's night and day. I feel like in control. I feel like I can make decisions better. Of course, our if you feel better about yourself, you're more happy to be around. I can't say I was the best person to be there. So maybe there's some happy wife in there too. So yeah, it's just been. I will say, and I was thinking about this the other day. I'm living my best life right now. There's no
I'm so
question about
happy. I'm so happy to hear that. And it's incredible that out of one decision, which was really challenging, right?
it.
And it was the decision process and probably also the difficult conversations that came out of that decision. And so everything was challenging, but it's for me, like it really fills my heart. And I'm so happy really to see that out of that tough decision, like look at all that has shifted in your life. And like
Right.
for you to say, so for you to say that you're living your best life, it's exactly like it's exactly what my brand is all about, right? It's called
Yeah.
Alive and on Purpose. And I do believe, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, that everyone can create the life of their dreams, no matter what. But you do have to take steps, right? Like
Yeah.
that. And sometimes there are decisions that are really, really challenging and hard to make. And that's typically how it is. But then once you make them, it's kind of like everything starts falling into place.
Yep. Yep. Dan, you know what they say? Do what you love, and you never work a day in your life. That could be number two. Like, we have big goals. I want to grow this to multiple stores and then really decide if we go to a franchise model or, there are all kinds of options open up when we get to that point. I mean, I don't want to work forever or at least not have to, right? But I said to Jessica, I said, you know what, if we never grew beyond this and this is all I did every single day or, we did, I mean, I'd just be the happiest camper ever. So it's just really, it's wonderful to be in that position. It's quite a bit getting there. There's a lot of successes and failures, involved along the way. But you just learn and you take it as valuable lessons. And probably I think my next chapter that I want to do is a little bit like you're doing, start sharing experiences and being there as a resource for people. So I noticed a lot of these little names pop up of people that have joined, and I'm never doing live things on Instagram. In fact, I'm rarely on Instagram. Uh, so it's like, wait, Ben's doing a live thing. I got to see what's going on. So I'm going to use this opportunity to tell these people that this girl that's appearing, at least in my phone, above me on this, if you guys just see, you think you need any little bit of help in life, advice wise, especially as it relates to career, money, and maybe relationship. I can't recommend Laura enough. She's been a wonderful friend, even before we engaged in this in a professional level. But it's the program. I don't know the the, your platform of education of what it was to structure. Obviously, there's something very structured you've been following to create this, but it's very well done. So I don't know if that's all your platform or part of something else, but the end result is really fantastic. So I just want to give that 2 cents.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. I mean, just again, like for me, seeing you as I'm seeing you now, it's really a joy. And I loved what you said now, like about what's next for me, about like trying to share with others, and like how can you help others? Because our mission, like our purpose, I always get that question, right? Like how can I find my purpose in life? And it's always related to others.
Right.
So I know we will continue to talk and we'll continue coaching, and I have no doubt that I'll help you find like that other piece that you want to include. But I'm really happy to hear that that decision that you made has really made a difference in your life. And I'm sure everyone who's listening to this is so inspired. I mean, and if you are if you're in a situation in which you really are torn between, like again, having something that doesn't make you fulfilled or super happy, and you also have something else that is something that you've always wanted to do, this conversation is so inspiring, because that I work mostly with entrepreneurs, and for entrepreneurs, like our businesses are our babies, right? But it's taking that leap of faith, as you mentioned, and just going for it and believing and trusting that you have all the gifts and talents and capabilities of making your business work, right?
And let me just expand on that for 1 second. So when you come to a crossroads where you've got a big decision to make, like I had to make, right? And let me just say that was a decision I literally gave up. I don't want us to put it. I gave up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, hundreds, and with all kinds of potential bonuses and everything. So it was a tough one. So what do you do when you come to these things? You talk to your friends, you talk to people, right? Not everyone always has. They think they have your best interest or whatever, but they may not, because there might be personal things involved, right? There might be a spouse or whatever. So the process that I went through with you was you didn't give me advice on what to do. We went through a process to make that decision yourself. You looked at it from 5 different perspectives, I think it was, and then you crossed the lines and you drew the dots and you whatever, and it ended up exactly. It helped you make the decision. This is not Laura's not an advice giver. She just helps you with the process to make the decision on your own. And I think that would you agree that's what happened?
Yeah, so what happens, and that's the beauty of it, like when you see yourself through a different lens, right? And like that's what I say, like when you have an empowered relationship with money, you end up having an empowered relationship with yourself. And one of the things that I love, which is exactly what you're describing, is that your own decision making process becomes easier and quicker,
Right.
because you really start to connect with that you have all the answers, right? Like what you're saying, like you have your best interest, and you stop going around having others give you the answers. And
Right.
also you stop that spinning, because that spinning is just waiting, and that waiting energy creates so much doubt, right? Like the more you waited on making that decision, then the more stuff comes to your head, right? Like those old stories and those doubts of like, am I going to be able to do to make or generate this amount of money in my business? Like, what if I do this? And like all these old stories starts coming in. But when you really kind of clear everything, all of this out, because that's exactly what you did, and you really connected to your essence and to your own ability to, like, you know, that you have the wisdom inside of you, and you were able to make that decision so quickly.
Yeah.
It was so quickly, and I know it was moving, as you said, you know. there were tears involved in the decision, but it was also so liberating because you noticed right there that you were releasing the obligation of being responsible for other people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was huge.
And guess what? They're all still alive.
Yes.
Okay. And now they can make their own decisions. And
Yes.
so
So it's amazing. And if you've already, this is a huge decision that you've taken. And I said, that's why I wanted to bring you today as my guest, because I'm sure a lot of people, we all face crossroads. We all do at some point of our lives. And it's so important to know, like, how to approach those decisions. I'm really happy too because I believe that people show up in our lives for a reason and at the right time. So I'm really happy that, like, I was like, hey, I'm coaching. These are my services, blah, blah, blah. Are you interested? I'm really happy that I actually I had that outreach and extended that call to you, because if not, I don't know, we may not be here today. That's exactly what could have happened.
Yeah.
But I know you're super busy, but everyone, you have to know, it came from someone that had time for nothing. And now as you see him, he is radiating happiness and joy, and he has time for this.
I'm in shorts on a Monday.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I know. And I can totally relate to that, because obviously also for me, coming out of the corporate world, I have to say that when you're able to dress the way you want to dress, it's, it's a gift. Forget about the suits, right?
Yeah. Listen,
you can clean your closet now.
Wait for that time. Now I'll just wear them to attend weddings. That's it. So anyway.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for your time. Is there any last thing that you want to add?
You know what? Just don't, Amanda, I know you got something that drives you, and you know you want it, and you have the confidence in yourself that you can, I don't believe in doing something that you don't have experience in it, or whatever. You have to, if you got something that drives you, you feel like you got the tools to make it happen, just freaking do it. And there's ways to do things sometimes where it's not all in, where you take tremendous risk. I guess that was one of the things I learned on the way was, having to work extra hard, for that year while we launched that. It was brutal, and I had time stress and all kinds of other stress, but I didn't have financial stress, and that allowed me to focus on what I was doing. So try to do things in a way that's at a good pace and not going to create another stress that's going to make you counterproductive. So that's probably my biggest lesson, in this whole thing.
Okay, awesome. Well, those are Ben's words of wisdom for everyone on Monday Mindset. So I hope everybody has had an amazing moment with us here. I hope you're inspired. I am, and I'm here on the other side of the camera. So thank you so much, Ben, for joining us. And I'll see you soon.
Yes, you will. All right.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
See you. I don't know how to stop it.